to play near perfect if you're Shroud X, because you got to eliminate them twice. Such a tough thing to handle. Will they priority ban Adam now? We'll have to see and find out in just a second as we see the ban and picks coming up, and Loki being that first ban from Shroud X with Emma to Nemesis.
Oh, that's interesting. And already going to be able to protect that Emma as a priority too, looking at Nemesis. And I was about to say, you know, Shroud X themselves, they also ran a res composition with Vision being on the Adam Warlock. He was popping off, literally clocking heads. Fidel on that Cloak and Dagger, Nook on that Mantis too, with Doom being on that Star-Lord here. Seeing here how that's going to work out as we see the next ban being the Cloak and Dagger.
Yeah, Cloak and Dagger ban against Nemesis. Get why, you know, definitely just the ability to charge up so quickly. Dinks has been playing now, getting that internal bond and that terror cape and collapsing and coordinating. And that was, as we just saw too from Envy, it's just such a powerful hero from that to the cloak bubble as that mini ultimate. And they save Loki. Shroud X has not had a lot of access to Loki this tournament, and Nuck and Fidel both play a mean one.
Okay, and this is good too because I believe the last time both of these teams had faced off against each other, yeah, they banned the Mantis. No more res composition that's going to be coming out on looking at Team Nemesis, since they can't run that. But it's crazy because the last time these two teams had met up with each other, you know, the counter immediately to that was that the Loki was banned. So finding that protection onto the Loki helps enable this team.
Yeah, they're going to get rid of, love the respect there. They're going to get rid of Doomed and Wolverine or Vision on the character. But now Triple Res being shut down with Mantis. They learn from their past mistakes, especially here on Dom. We've seen it across the board. Carry in Triple Res Dom matches. And as you said, Madian, insane Star-Lord. A lot of those matches came down to if Nuck and Fidel had the strategist ults ready for the Legendary.
So we're going to be able to have that ready to enable as the protection from the torch comes out. No torch on the other side here, but a protection on the torch for Team Nemesis instead.
Yeah, we've seen Mello play a lot of torch. I think that's obviously who we're going to see rained down the fire from the skies on that side. And if they're going to go with the Luna ban, so look at that. No Loki, the full strategist approach. This is so tough to handle. No Luna, no Mantis, no Cloak, no Loki.
Dude, the Invisible Woman, the Rocket perhaps coming out here. This is, wow, literally the target ban on just a strategist here. Very difficult, forcing out maybe a composition from Team Nemesis that they're not comfortable with.
Yeah, they do get access to the Hellfire Gala Queen in Emma. Scatter going to be able to play that. And so they're going to probably look, to lock in Mello. Floating Psylocke. He plays Human Torch, but when you get that Emma, you get the echoes, and you're just going to really pop off with that damage.
We've seen it before here as we start off our very first map on Domination 2.
Yeah, we're looking at best of 5. If you're just now coming in, again, big difference. Instead of winning 2 and calling it, got to win 3, and that's tough to do, especially at the level that these two teams play at as we go into Wakanda, the land of Vibranium, and we look at what is going to be an epic matchup between Shroud X and Nemesis.
It's just the foreshadowing moment right here, the epic verse as we get set up now. Domination here, bringing out the quad strategy ban over on the other side, but gonna be able to lean into that Ultron. And when you have the torch, it really does help out here before we start leaving out of these spawn room gates.
Yeah, absolutely. Here as we have Craze going on the Captain America, trying to get right to that point as quickly as possible. Vision, though, it's been a while since I've seen him on Hela. He played a little bit of that in Dom versus him last time, but he is such a lethal goddess of death. Excited to see if he can pull off those shots. Doom, though, has just been a demon on Psylocke and getting those back hits consistently, in the sword, butterfly, limbs that we like to see.
Together here, though, with the Groot and the Magneto, won't be able to have the echoes for themselves, considering that Emma Frost is available here for Team Nemesis, as now Mello tries to isolate Doom just a little bit, puts down some of the pressure, tries to get more of these raw hits here. Scatter 2, just a little bit of trouble. It's going to be the nice reset from the strategist instead. Before flying around, this is what I really like, too, about flyers here, especially on this map. You just get to reposition so quickly.
Yeah, Vision is going to have to play near perfect to get down both these flyers. They've got the both, obviously, Ultron going down there with Human Torch. But yeah, there's just so many places to go in, out. The point has not been taken yet. There's just pure contention now as Doom is just going right for Mello. Can he get that pick? That's what's so tough. The Invisible Woman keeping alive, but Vision does get rid of Captain America.
Yeah, Craze being gone now. Instead, Doom now just keeps harassing Mello in the skies. Not going to let go of that Mosquito Squadron instead. While Scatter outnumbered, managing to try to back away in time and end the isolation from Impunity being on this group. I'm not surprised. This is the Impunity special when you have Impunity being able to get enabled on that group.
Yeah, the trade of the duelist there. Nuck copied a bit early, was forced to do that Luna Snow dancing, but that's going to definitely help the team keep that momentum there as they push forward. They still have it, and look at that. That's the 24 seconds of immunity as we have from Loki to Luna, and there's Doom. Can he get the picks early? No, the invisible boundary keeping them alive.
Invisible boundary, Fidel 2 here with the dance off, as well as the rocket. Sia being used up. The meteor, though, is going to collide off the roof here. Now finishing things off is going to be crazy as he finds 3, and Median after he comes back. Team Nemesis finally flipped the point here. Let's not forget, no one was able to take control over that point for so long.
Yo, that was crazy. Yeah, Groot just got chopped. Absolutely just yelled timber. Not only did he not get the ult off there, Impunity wants that one back, but yeah, Dogman just exploding into his own magnetism. That's what you're looking for. 15% now for Nemesis is to get things started on the cap.
This cap, though, is crazy. Just dives all the way down, tries to get the reset, the health reset now. So Freedom Charge is activated to lead the way, but the terrain falling right over their heads. Now Isolate's Cray, thankfully, he can get right back up to the high ground to help heal for the rest of his team to give him that backup.
Holy terrain, and you got the gavel. There's so much happening on screen as Vision gets a Median down. That's a huge early swipe there on Ultron to open things up. Mello, though, looking to use this Fog of War to their advantage. And there's the Supernova, the pressure to fire. Can they get the Extinguisher? He's going right for the Goddess of Death.
Oh, it gets the snipe, though, onto Ricky. Big pick off there, too. Just stalls out the invisible boundary charge up on the ultimate instead, and trying to retake this, but just an inch away. Shroud X, though, falling, trading that Vision. Team Scatter here on the other side. Doom then being able to find Cray, and that's going to be a big pick off here as they're going to be able to finally retake the point.
The quick fly to death there, trying to get Flame off as quickly as possible. Great job there, though, from Shroud, kind of getting everything coordinated, ready to go, and they didn't have to use much resource-wise. They still have got that entanglement coming up any moment here, and this is why Loki so good. Don't see him a lot of them in the tournament, most banned heroes so far, but putting on a show right now, Nuck with the healing and the clutch ults as Mello raining from the skies yet again.
Doomed having that dance of butterflies, so Fidel will be able to also help keep Shroud X into this next fight with the upcoming fate of both worlds. Extermination, though, and the dance of butterflies, when they least expect it, they turn around, but so far, you've lost out on Mello, you've lost out on Dinks here. 2 members out, and that was after you expending the extermination.
Yeah, we've seen that time after time today. Can they get those picks on that back line, make it a graveyard? And it's been at the hands of Psylocke almost every time, whether it's Energy now, Doomed. It's insane what she's pulled together here. Now, they also have a lot still in the tank. Look at this. They've got Fidel and Nuck locked and loaded. This could be a tough retake. Probably going to get up at least to 99% for Shroud X, but we saw this last time. 99 doesn't mean anything to these teams. The teams can take it right back.
Yeah, it's the 3 fights basically you would expect with maybe a desperate portal swap there for the Doctor Strange, but the Triangle Prison and the invisible boundary saving everyone out here too. This forces Fidel now to utilize a bit of both worlds just to help peel right back to the point. Here comes a Meteor just trying to find its mark, but sends it into the depths, trying to find that snipe in the air. A little bold we're feeling, are we? Dogman, as he still gets that pick onto Scatter.
That meteor is right over to Marvel Rivals 2 at this point. It's gone. It is out of the sky now as we've got the revive there, the swap over. We've got Dinks there with that. Okay, we've got the Rocky Raccoon ult. Can they find it? Can they discover it? It's, yeah, it's not going to last too long here as the 99% is coming underway. Mello dumping down the fire. Flame on, game on as he pushes them back.
That was a big takeover, though, and that was with help from Dinks specifically being on the rocket because the BRB was used up from Scatter after we saw Scatter getting taken out, and so they were able to re-engage just as quickly with the C on top of it.
Yeah, I'm telling you, all of these games, all of these points, they are going to come down to the wire. These teams are very close in terms of talent, play, and level of execution. Mello just pumping out that pressure as he always does so well, putting that team right into the barbecue pit that he's looking to do here. 99, 82, it's getting close.
Oh no, but they're congested right here too. I'm a little scared. Maybe put them in the microwave, but you won't even have to use it. With Fidel going out, you still have the Supernova that you're holding on to. Yes, you've used up the Freedom Charge, the Dance of Butterflies from Doom just to keep them away from them, and now they're playing split up. Supernova now finally active from Mello as the reversal from Team Nemesis are nearing 99%.
Yeah, we're seeing the same history repeating itself, and I mean, that's what's showing how Ultron is just so powerful, able to escape with that bonus health. We've got the Extermination now coming on, the script being flipped as we just saw it. It's why I was not surprised as Nemesis has an inch on the clock to get it, and there it is, the reverse 99.
The way that they were also holding on to those ultimates, that Supernova just controls so much space, and the damage output makes your eyes water.
Okay, last time, map 1, 99%. Nemesis gets it. This time, 99% for Nemesis, but Shroud wins. This time, reversed. Shroud X getting the 99, but it goes to Nemesis. Yeah, honestly, that is what makes Ultron so good, Vicky. Doomed had that surprise on him, does the burst combo, but he's able to escape, backs up, gets with his team, ults, extermination.
You always want to have just the ability to get away, just boost up your own flying speed, ready to go, even when you are in your ult, because you could utilize both at the same time. And it's great, because then you get to just recontest immediately, even if you lose out on 2. And the way that they're able to cycle through their own ultimates that first run was so important. As we take a look at the impact here, too. Scatter also putting in a good amount of pressure, but Mello, man. Mello's been on fire here, but it's pretty even across the board.
Yeah, Vision is the one I'm looking at in terms of stats-wise. Not what you exactly want to see. We'll see if he stays. He's going to stay with that Hela's team's armor up, and they've got that portal. Oh, we've seen this before. They're going to get that portal out there. He's got the penny trap down, and we're going to see the penny strange that we saw before.
Wait. They feel suspicious the way that they're holding that choke right now. They try to do it. They try to get it done through the portal. Playing split up, though, still could benefit them in terms of their positioning.
Yeah, trying to get that pull in there from Ricky, but unable to do so. Mello now trying to get that pick on the strategist in the backline, chasing Fidel with a huge freeze, putting that fire right out as if it's Pokemon there as they're pushing out. Doomed, hitting that pressure early, and they almost have the cap. Vicky, this would be a huge early cap.
Although Shroud X just have way better ultimates, though, looking at the invisible boundary that Ricky just put up, though, you have to imagine Impunity, who does have that strangling prison. You have to consider with Nook also being able to use the God of Mischief. Goddess of Death taken to the skies is going to be Vision looking at everybody, but the Sia coming in from Dinks is going to help reset everyone, give them the shields that they need. The overhealth, why would you hear? Vision backs away, but Impunity gets stunned in the middle of using the strangling prison, gets choke slammed by Scatter.
Yeah, insane job, Crazeman, blocking the Hela ult, and you have Dinks avoiding the Meteor M, both just executing it perfectly to perfection, and the opposite of what we saw last time on map 1 with these two teams. 32% to Shroud X. It's going over to Nemesis as they push them back to the spawn, and the staggers happening as they're gonna, leave him alive and then finish it off. Fidel just try to get back desperately. But here, oh, look at this stagger job.
Oh, that's unfortunate. More time wasted away. It was the retake here, but I was going to say Impunity had enough. It looked like Impunity did swap back to the group, but Impunity was hovering over that Doctor Strange before finalizing that pick on the group.
Yeah, wow. Great job there to flip it up for them. We've got the Eye of Agamotto. This is a huge one they combine either with Supernova. We saw that before from Sentinels there on Krakoa back in the early stage. McCrae's now trying to get a little bit of space for the team to push in here. Are they going to get the job done as we have Doom again looking for that back hit? He's going off, dancing the butterflies. He does get that pick on Dinks. That's a huge pick as the respawn as well is going to be unavailable.
And the group also try to block out their exit strategy. The Supernova now from Mello as everyone is funneled still inside these rooms before they exit out to try to jump on top of the point. But you talk about the Eye of Agamotto here on the other side. It's found 3 big picks. It's going to cost Doom as he gets sent back to the spawn room gates. And here comes a strangling prison to keep them all stuck together through the brute wall with Fidel having that fate of both worlds to keep the rest of Shroud X alive.
Yeah, great sustain there as Impunity pushes to get that respawn timer down, and again, just absolutely lighting up the sky like the 4th of July. Mello is just doing an insane job staying alive there as Human Torch in constant pressure. We have Nuck now keeping the team up with a fate of both worlds. Dinks, look at that, you good rocket using the primary on top of the burst of healing. He gets Dongmin, hasn't connected thus far, and doesn't yet again.
No one is dying. No one is dying the way that they're having this standoff here. Welcome to the West, it looks like, as you try to duke it out. Scatter in that diamond form. The extermination from Amadian here, too. Just looking at everyone from inside that bottom floor, putting in a good amount of pressure. But now look at Team Nemesis nearing 95%.
Yeah, Dongmin just able to stay alive nearly. Here's the Eye of Agamotto. Doom getting rid of Mello, though. The trade to Impunity. It's overtime. Nemesis at 99%. And they're putting everything they've got to get this point. This would put them up 1-0 and changing what happened last time these two teams met. Doom trying to get that pick here on Ultron, and Ultron escaping into that overhealth. This is going to be clutch.
And Doom is the only one here. The Dance of the Butterflies. Nook needs to make some magic happen. Doom goes down without being able to use the Dance of the Butterflies. Shut down with some help from Radiant and Dinks here. Then following up with the dance, the fate of both worlds, the invisible boundary. Team Nemesis, though, are cycling through all their next set of ultimates, while Shroud X, Fidel, so close to that own fate of both worlds.
The tornadoes are spinning, the enemy strategy is burning, and can they get it? It's going to be close as we've got now Vision staying alive. Fidel going with the dance to keep things going on the point, but Mello just showing why he's such a menace in the skies.
Oh, and uncontested here too, right? With the way that Shroud X are just focused on trying to recontest, making their way back, looking all the way down with some help from Madian here too. The Eye of Agamotto from Impunity though to try to match that versus Cray as Team Nemesis now just desperately trying to hold on. Overtime taken away. Shroud X just trying to keep this going and maybe have a chance to flip this for themselves.
Yeah, can't get off the point at this point. We've now seen 3 Agamottos in one fight. Madian, though, just picking off one by one. There's a sliver left. They're trying to stay alive, keep the point going, but no. Team Nemesis makes it 1-0 against Shroud X as they take back-to-back maps.
It was the fact that nobody was looking to the skies. I mean, there's a lot going on in front of them, but Mello and Madian were just getting away with murder on this Ultron and Torch.
Yeah, that was honestly, Nemesis cleaned up a lot of what the play was there from the previous Dom. Because again, not only did they lose Dom last time these teams played, but they had triple res, they had double the opportunity. They cleaned it up, and they were changing what Vision did. He was on Hela for a while, swapped on over there to the Ultron, as we see and take a look at the stats, and a lot of it there is Mello and what he does best. Mello, my goodness, great job there on that map.
9 final hits, 24k damage output here too. Very different comparatively to looking on the other side. Then you have Doomed, with the 15k damage here, but the output wasn't the same at the same time. Even, they had to also work with the fact that those strategy ults were just really, really good in the back line. But then dealing with that, plus Ricky and Madian, who was uncontested, Dinks too, with the respawn, just helped them out.
Yeah, and I would say too, we've seen for sure Shroud X's team play better in Vanguard department. Impunity has been honestly the MVP of this team a lot of the time, and that was, what is that, 5 and 6? That's not the performance you want at all from a player of his caliber. And then in form of Dogman, I mean, I think we were 0 for 4 on those Meteor Imps, right? Can't have that either. Definitely can't. So that's going to be where a lot of the cleanup is. And listen, they know what they've got against this team. They know they can do it, but the adjustments were just a little bit too late.
Yeah, like I said, seeing Impunity hover over the Doctor Strange at one point before sticking to the Groot still to the very end was getting shut down a lot by the Emma Frost. I feel like Scatter was equally a problem, just trying to CC a lot of the contests that were being approached on that second point specifically, but also really stopped allowing these Groot walls to be a problem and prevented them from getting set up first.
Yeah, that's a great point. And to be fair to Dogman, if you look at what they had, okay, you've got Mello in the sky, Amadian. Both those can avoid the purple, Meteorium pretty easily. But then if it wasn't that, you also have Rocky Raccoon can dash out of the way. So it's just so tough for them to get that connection they were looking for. As we look at the MVP, I tell you, Ultron farms it at this point. 65% accuracy, 17,000 damage. My goodness, crazy stats there from Amadian.
Damage output with some of that support here too, but being on that strategy lineup here and being able to put out that damage output, it's always impressive for me to see. Also not so impressive to see Ultron always getting the MVP out here in my games now here too in the Marvel Rivals Ignite, but Amadian did a fantastic job.
And that's a fly comp, right? It's tough to deal with it. Absolutely tough to deal with it. They were trying to lean into Vision's Hela, who again does a great job at keeping those planes landed, but this time was not the case and had to flex and go around and change it up, and it just was a little bit too late. So they're definitely going to look to change that in the pick and ban phase, as we are going to be heading into map number 2 here in just a moment. Anything else stand out there to you, Vicky?
Ricky's survivability on the Invisible Woman. Ricky, only going down once, I believe, but even in a triple, support composition, when you're forced to go out with these strategists because you have to deal with a triple strategy band, it could be difficult, but Ricky still was able to stay alive and keep that main support with the Invisible Woman.
Well, can Shroud X adjust? Can they change the strategy? We're about to find out in the pick ban phase, but before we get to that, guys, don't go anywhere. We're going to take a quick break. What's going on, guys? Welcome back. Nothing like Marvel Heroes staring into your soul as Luna DJs Vicky. We've got ourselves another match between these two teams. And listen, Shroud X, they banned 4 strategists. But when you see that Human Torch, the first save, curious why Ultron wasn't one of them. And they still got the job done, Nemesis.
Yeah, is it worth to be expending a lot of these bans on the strategists, maybe, is my question. Or is that torch going to be the first one you want to see taken out here? It's just the fact that they also prioritize saving that torch here first.
I think it speaks volumes to Mello and what he can do. I mean, we kind of saw that at the end with Envy. They were like, lock the storm, let's get Speedery where he needs to be. They even said that in interviews for Envy. And now with Nemesis, it's like, all right, Mello, we know what he can do in the sky as that torch. And so, you know, that's probably the strategy going in if I'm Shroud X. What's interesting about this, outside of what Araco, they didn't do a lot of torch on the last couple of matchups. These are somewhat new comps for both teams.
Yeah, and compare that with Amadian, who they have to also be flexible with their own strategist ultimates. And then Dinks being on the Rocket. You have the Rocket, you have the Ultron, and you have the Invisible Woman. And this is not like putting down what we saw from Nook and Fidel too on the other side from Shroud X, because they put out mad support like output. They were healing a lot, but the damage output from the skies, looking at Mello specifically, Ultron too, it's difficult when no one's able to focus on what's happening above you when you're really fixated on just trying to even get out of cover to get to the point.
Absolutely, guys, and we've seen a lot of great skins today, and on that note, we've got a lot of great skins in the store right now in Marvel Rivals. 2 heaters off the bat. We had Human Torch line up the skies, well, Iron Fist, Binary Fist, and that Moon Knight, my goodness, Phoenix Knight, both can also light up your matches.
Literally on fire. Make sure you guys check that out. Available on June 20th right there too. So already out here for anybody to try to check out. It's looking nice. I definitely want to get that Moon Knight skin.
Yeah, I mean, he's got that extra health now in the patch, so definitely great to, you know, get things on fire there. Iron Fist, you know, struggling a little bit in this patch, as we've seen, and maybe season 3 is going to be, yeah, brighter skies. I was going to say, I don't think outside of Iron Fist mains, too many people are too mad about that, but either way, these skins slap. They're absolute fire. Go pick them up while you still can. But speaking of fire, we're going to get right back to Mello and friends and what they've put together there for Nemesis as we look at what Shroud X and Nemesis have in store for us for match 2.
I'm excited here. What are the changes? What are going to be the bans we're going to see now moving on? Because we noticed already, we talk about it time and time again, that a lot of the times these series end up being lost in just the pick and ban phase here. So waiting to see where we're going to be moving on for map number 2.
Yeah, if we look at it, what they went through with the 4 strategists, they had Loki, Cloak, Mantis, and Luna ban. Look to see that changed up a bit here. We've got Shroud X 0, Nemesis 1. It's best of 5, first to 3. We're about to find out the map Shroud X picked, and that exact map is going to be Araco, where they fell to Nemesis in the upper bracket.
Oh, okay. The immediate ban onto the Loki from Shroud X comes in swinging.
Yeah, absolutely. We've got that was what they did last time, to just go in with that exact same strat with the Emma save. Now, interesting. Last time, actually, sorry, I think they did Loki last. It was Luna first, right? Last time. Either way, it's looking like they're going for the similar strat there of the strategist.
No, you're definitely right. Team Nemesis, they first tried to protect the Emma, and then they protected the Torch last. But this is a very similar case, though, from the way that Shroud X is approaching this with these bans, because this is how they went forward. They said instead of the Invisible Woman, though, I believe the second ban was the Cloak and Dagger.
Yeah, absolutely. Here again, no triple res. They're shutting that down. I'm going to be shocked if the Ultron survives. And they're just targeting these duelists hardcore. Vision, no Punisher for you. Fred Castle on the bench, and then Wolverine doomed. They go crazy, forcing him into that Psylocke role. And getting that Emma ban is exactly what they want done.
Okay. It's the third one here. Going to be another duelist. I was going to think like the Torch here in this case. Looking on the other side, they did protect the Magneto. Not surprised there, of course, after they didn't try to prioritize that first initial save over to the Emma.
Yeah, absolutely. Here we've got that Torch ban. Mello in the skies by himself, at least in the Fantastic Four sense of the word. Magneto saved up, and there it is again. Able to keep Torch up. Is this Ultron here? Is this going to be Ultron or Luna? It's like both are rough. After what just happened, and on this map, I would get rid of Ultron personally, and they're thinking about it too. They're going back and forth.
Yeah, I would agree, especially paired up together with a Torch. You know that 2 menaces in the sky, but they try to, okay, they go for the Luna instead, because the priority on having the fate of both worlds just goes so hard. They feel like they can just counter the Ultron extermination just way better.
Yeah, that had to be quite the conversation back and forth on which one they would rather not deal with. And both are good answers, but right now, after what I just saw, I'm fearing what's in the sky. Especially because last time they were on this map, Vicky, they had access to Human Torch. This time, not so much. Now, you're seeing the triple Vanguard lock in from Shroud X. A lot of the times, defense likes to push up with that triple Vanguard setup.
It's a very good point. Also thinking on the other side here, how that's going to work together with the Torch, the Ultron map number 2, providing that verticality, though, being on Araco for Convoy. And I really do like this new map. It's not only aesthetically pleasing, but the jams, though, get me going.
Yeah, right. Oh, it's like a 80s arcade all over again. As we look at what Ultron has done, and the I love the objective to push here with Krakoa, all of it, great stuff here as we head into what is just an electric map on this first point. There's so much action right away here, and I think we're going to see it right off the bat as, again, that triple Vanguard pushes in, but they just have so many fights that they can take up before they get to that point.
Yeah, I've mentioned this before, but one of my favorite things that's different about this map versus the other maps is that defense can hold such an aggressive position right out of the gates. A lot of cover that you can work around, especially by that bridge to have a high to low ground disparity. But Scatter being on that Emma Frost already trying to get into position, combine that with Mellow taking to the skies this time around here on the Storm.
Yeah, we're dropped right into the battlefield here, guys. I hope you're ready for action, because here it comes. Mellow on Storm, ready to roll, and we've got a Squirrel Girl appearance, ladies and gentlemen. My goodness, as that ult is already farmed up, here comes the squirrels. The friends are here. Can they get some picks?
I had to rub my eyes real quick. A Madian on the Squirrel Girl? Okay, and already with that ult that started so fast, clocking heads, clearing up this initial part of the map here too. And when you're so close together across these corridors, it just allows Squirrel Girl to have even more impact.
It's going nuts! A Madian is going crazy with the squirrel with the 1, 2, 3, 4. I mean, my goodness, that is as crazy fast action as we've had in this tournament. Jumping away, portal opens up.
Oh, I was scared. I was scared right there for Diggs. You saw the kidnap before coming right back through the other side of the portal, safely hand in hand with the rest of Team Nemesis. Although, look, Craze about to have that straggly prison activated here, but you're just going to stay safely here. The Eternal Bond on top of it from the other side. The God of Mischief now is just going to be able to get that copy. Nemesis, though, now utilize that prison, just waiting at the very end. But the Eye of Agamotto from Impunity coming in from the heavens. Doom goes down, though, first. 2 stun now on the other side, with Visions being on the thing. And now you have to look behind you, though, because a Madian got into your flank.
Yeah, we've got 3 Vanguard ultimates. The mask control, crowd control everywhere, as Madian is just raining down consistently. I can tell you, Shroud X did not have Squirrel Girl on their to-do list here. Hungman is always just trying to go for that meteor and the whip Dino out once again. And right now, Nemesis cleaning up.
Dude, I have to say, Dogman goes for the hardest heroes to land the meteor on, but it was the fact that we saw the Squirrel Girl just bungee jumping up and down the trampoline before then using the second jump of the Squirrel Girl to get away from the meteor.
Yeah, just absolute chaos. Hasn't fallen yet, just raining down a barrage of damage. Paired there up with Craze. That's just such a tough combo. Get them all together. Look, he's trying to feast, trying to push him through this door. This first point is so tough to get. Craze throwing in the ult right away into this small room that's going to allow the Squirrel.
Oh, no.
To get the 1, 2, 3. Make it 4 done. My gosh, just Squirrel lanes are going crazy in the chat.
And the emo? You know what you did? You know what you're doing, Amadian. Get the little taunt on them. She says her friends are here, more like her assassins are here, because they've just cleaned up Shroud X.
I can't believe it. That's absolutely insane. And then look at this, the quick swap over. So they definitely formed that strategy of just a constant barrage of nuts. Can't believe I just said that. But we've got Mellow now and Amadian taking over the skies as they did the ground just before. And Craze now swapping to Cap. So really strategic decisions here for these teams.
At least here coming up, Dinks is about to have the Eternal Bond ready to go. As you mentioned, Ricky, with the Sia, though, before jumping back in. Impunity, by the way, those walls were not helping him out with the Groot originally before now we see him swap over to the Hulk. He gets melted like he's put in the microwave right after coming out on the Hulk, but those walls were just getting melted because of the Squirrel Girl. Now we get to see that swap.
Yeah, we've got Cloak and Dagger trying to get that Digital Bond as Nook copies that with Loki to give them a little bit more sustain. Doom making that swatch over to Psylocke. Dancing the Butterflies ready to go, but it's going to be tough. You've got the Rocket to deal with. Maybe the Cloak they can get their hands on, but Mellow just absolute tearing it up from the top.
I also really like the call making the swap here for this second point specifically, because this low to high ground hill that you have to trespass through is just very difficult, but they're doing it with ease right now. Mellow just with another stagger here, has a supernova ready for the next engagement, and Impunity is not having a good time.
Yeah, just flash frying their dreams right in front of them. The tough part, too, is they were close to get rid of Ultron, right? That definitely changes the lineup a little bit on what they might do. But nope, they went with Luna. Understandably, it does make sense there as Doom is trying to get those picks. Does get Ricky eliminated. That's going to get rid of that res beacon as now they're pushing in with the cloak ult as well. They're going to have to win this fight with the resources they're using.
Oh, those out on 2 right here too. Shroud X now finally. They've utilized a lot here. Vision being that Namor this time around too is about to have that ultimate, but after that dance of butterflies, now Shroud X will only really have Dogman and that Meteor coming up for this next fight.
Yeah, it's like season 0 of the Duelist. We had an Iron Man briefly, then now we have the Namor, and we've got the big whale coming out. We'll see if they can capitalize on that here. Ricky, though, has that ult ready to go. The Supernova, so tough on this part of the map. So little space, so many tornadoes.
Perfect situation, though, if you want everybody clustered together in this case. I love this, just being able to get right behind to get up on the high ground this time and trying to find different angles around Shroud X here. Together with Mello, the Ultron 2 from Amadian after the action we saw from Squirrel Girl, though, we activate the Supernova, we activate the Sea here, too. Dogman now trying to find its mark, but these crucial meteors keep missing.
The damage amplifier on the Supernova, the miss of the Meteor. I mean, it's just, I hope you like your steak medium well. Just absolutely tearing up this map with the double flies.
The Whiff Nito strikes again. Back to back here. Though being able to get to the second checkpoint now, Mello already getting ahead, just trying to control some of that space. And we already get to see the swap up now, this time from Impunity, going back to the Hulk.
I appreciate what Dogman's trying to do, but you've got to be using those meteors to better resources here, as now Vision has that well. Gonna look for an opening early on. They're gonna have now the Gamma Squids. We have not seen that from at least Shroud X thus far. As we've got Cap, they've got little eyes on what they're trying to figure out here. Can he get the opening with the whale? We're about to find out.
The fact that they just got to deal with these pesky flyers here, holding 2 different split angles. This is a good position to at least hold in when you are on that high ground position, unless you get booted by it.
Yeah, what I like there is with the Cap, they can push Namor as much and then try to get that blessing to the deep. Then he's kind of left. There's not much you can do. After that cooldown increase that they've done here with Namor, it's a lot tougher to get the value out of that blessing and that survivability that he has. Gamma Squid on them, putting that pressure constant. A lot of Nemesis is up high. Here comes the whale. The landing, the stack. Can they get Emma? No, she's staying alive.
She's actually, the sustainability is created, and then the Medium comes in with the extermination, but Doomed shuts him down here. Now we get the God of Mischief just to copy the Eternal Bond to keep them alive. Flying around in the skies is going to be Ricky, but being able to find Dinks next, finally this momentum could be halted thanks to Doomed and some help from Shot X.
Ricky playing so good there on the Rocket. Now, it's like, again, pick your poison. Get rid of Rocket first in the res beacon, or try to get a Median out there who's just absolutely going crazy mode on Ultron now. They're doing a little bit of a better job because there's only 50 seconds left. It seems like this has been all Nemesis, but if they can get the hold here, it'd be massive.
Like a Shroud X, you are just playing this 2 different split angles. You have the harassment that you have to split your attention to looking behind you. The Captain America instead, who's about to have that freedom charge. Dance of the Butterflies now activated from Doom. Tries to find 2 here, following up from Vision to also get the Emma. With Dinks going down now, you have one of your mates forged out of this fight, and it's going to have to be a re-engage with less than 25 seconds on the clock.
Yeah, just barely getting that cloak and staggering them, and they're going to be able to get the hold a bit more here as they farm up the ults. They've got a lot ready for them, and they've got the mag ult here to counter the Supernova. But Dongmin, I'm begging you got to land this puppy as they go and push in here. They've got everything they're looking for outside of now Nuck just farming up a bit more.
Just a crumb, just to land a crumb of the Meteor here. Overtime now ticking away. Ricky pops in the see ya. Looking at the Namor ult though and utilizing the portals is what I love about this new map here. Vision follows up on the Supernova from the skies. Mello looks down at Doom. The problem, the Magneto ult misses just slightly here. You get to the health pack, you get to reset here, and the Meteor now not having the impact while Vision fights for their life in the car wash down below.
Yeah, wrong place, wrong time. The Magneto was not with the team to counter that Supernova. They all went through the portal, and he rained down, able to get the picks that they needed ahead of time, but they still are doing it as now we've got Cloak and Dagger. Nuck getting that Eternal Bond to keep the team alive, and that pressure on with Monster Hulk. You don't take him down, he's going to do what he does best, and that's smash.
Oh, and Diggs now coming in here too with the Eternal Bond. Gotta look out for this Impunity. Ready here to just try to stagger them. Overtime ticking away. Talk about the damage output. The lamps that were forced out too. The pathing that was created from that Eternal Bond that we saw from Diggs.
This is so tough for Nemesis because the spawn is right there, and it's going to be tough to get the difference made as the cliff bubble keeps them away. We've got the respawn, though, for Mello to keep the pressure up, and we've got kneeling of peasants as they're going for the strategist. Choke, hold, and pick, but Vision instead getting that pick on Captain America.
No one's looking at Vision here except for the Rocket. Ricky looking back at him. He gets reset inside of his bubble. Mello recognizing this is a problem. He focused down on that C, a very easy ult to counter, but then you have to think about Doomed, and then coming in from the skies, the whale. No one was on that point. Everyone forced off.
That's exactly what I'm talking about, how Doomed always gets the picks at the right time and just finishing up the job there. Honestly, that was all Nemesis until the very end. Shroud X cleaned it up when it mattered most. Got him to 0-2. They know what they need to do to make this a 1-1 series.
And also, and they did do amazing. But that third checkpoint, when you have to play off that low ground, if you don't get enough distance before the recontest happens from the defensive side, it's so hard because that high to low ground disparity, having these two different angles, make it really hard to try to figure out and try to actually focus down on the back line of the defending side.
Yeah, I like that Nemesis is kind of sticking with the game plan here of not going to the triple Vanguard. A lot of the reason why, and honestly, if I'm Shroud X, I might bring out a little squirrel action. The acorns and the pressure of DPS at the beginning is able to just break through that triple Vanguard comp that's so common. So if you're wondering, if you're scratching your head like, what the heck is Squirrel doing out here? That's the main bit of it, right? And then Amadian was just, I mean, you might as well just carry it out to the first point because he was doing incredible.
And also, just having so much damage output off the beginning when you are on the defensive side really comes in clutch. Very similar case on map-dependent situations with Penny here, too. Love how you highlighted that, and it looks like maybe we'll get a little bit of that same action, giving them a taste of their own medicine.
21K from Mello, 10 on the final hits. Definitely doing a great job as they open up with the flames of fire set out on the field. They got to quickly find their water element to put this out here as Impunity on the Hulk. Going to set up Vision, who was playing a lot better against these Flyers on the King of the Sea.
Sticking here with the Namor 2, good option considering with that team up together with Impunity has really benefited them as Doom now just tries to deal with the Flyers, splitting up not only their attention but trying to bring the focus onto Doom themselves. Ricky slowly approaching also that Sia hero as the poking match starts up and the teleports have been taken on the other side.
Yes, Ricky just never dies. Vision there, that's just showing it right there. Throwing down the Tritons, getting the picks that are needed. And the great things about Flyers is you can poke them enough to at least get them uncomfortable and then, you know, force the strategist to change their attention, try to get the pick on the Vanguard instead. But Rocket building up that ult so fast, it's going to give them all the space they need with the triple to push back. Shroud X.
Praise though, coming in with the wall there too to block off their exit route to pick up two real quick with the rest of Nemesis. I did like the plan from Shroud X. They jumped down to get the teleport, then play off of a high ground position, but the way that they kept staggering themselves just allowed Team Nemesis to hold the front line with those Groot walls too.
Yeah, we've got the swap over to Iron Man, and we've got now Impunity going back over to Groot, so they're going to change the vision show that we just saw. Dogman up top taking a lot of heat early here. Does have that Meteor in. They've got everything they kind of need here. Zinx, though, is going to be able to respond. We'll see if that Meteor can get that connection. The best possible way to counter Cloak and Dagger is available to them.
Oh, see, Nook now is going to be able to get that copy to get the Cloak and Dagger themselves with the Eternal Bonds, just creating a path here. Dogman moving up, does have that Meteor. This is that moment of truth. Doesn't get kicked off the map, off to the other side. But with the Strangling Prison now coming in, you have the Meteor. You have Mello that gets taken out as Vision being on the Iron Man to give at least some backup to have more utility on that ultimate aside from the Meteor from Magneto.
Oh my goodness, absolute pain. 0-7 or 0-6. I've lost count there for the Meteor Imps landing connecting, but they don't need them as Doom, Vision, the duelist. Get the job done, get the pressure done. But here it is. They can get easily. This is what they did last time. Amadian back with the Strange, portaling in. This is exactly what Nemesis did on Shroud X.
History repeats itself here. Good to see the slow approach. They put down the BRB machine. There goes the portal as we saw before, going down to the wire like we've seen here in the same matchup.
Yeah, here it is as Doom now opening up with that dance, trying to get that early pick, but Ricky able to get the ult out. Supernova coming down and connecting with the trick shot is Mello on Vision mid-air. Good gosh, Flyer on Flyer violence. Great job there.
Praise now coming back off the BRB. So Lavisa is going to be a quick reset from Impunity, and they have no other choice here too. You have a minute now, less than 15 seconds on the clock to even get anything started if you're Shroud X.
This is exactly how the last one happened, right? And it's funny enough, Shroud X is the one that picked this map, and it's looking like a similar result thus far. Last time, though, not a minute on the clock, 0 seconds. So they have time now to adjust. if you're Shroud X, you've got, maximum pulse you can combine here with the Groot ult. That's maybe what they'll look to do. They've got the defense there in Magneto, and they've got Nuck available. They've got what they need.
Or do they wait for that maximum pulse from Vision to utilize that on the Eternal Bond from Dinks too? Because Dinks just being alive for as long as Dinks has is impressive here. As the God of Mischief is activated here, it's going to be the Eternal Bond from them. Dropping all the way down, the Eye of Agamotto. It finds big three. The backline, Fidel, Impunity gets caught in the chaos. Vision goes down alongside Fidel, and that's no ultimates used up, and that's now 25 seconds and counting down from the clock.
I mean, Amadian just switched to Strange to get the portal back and then does a hard freaking Agamotto like that. That was nasty. As Vision now swapping over, we see what Vision could do on Strange in previous matchups. Getting that portal down, going to open up potentially with that Eternal Bond as they go right in and try to get the Meteor Imp. Dogman, you got to connect this.
Oh, wait for it though, because Graze is gonna have that strangling prison. Brings everybody in like a shish kebab. Everyone eats here as Shroud X are dropping. Team Nemesis utilize all the ultimates in their economy. The Whiff Nito, it strikes again as the last shot isn't gonna be enough to contest or take even one KO.
Again, we've said it before, Groot, a tree of few words, but that ultimate speaks absolute volumes, as this is not the start Shroud X was looking for at all. It is now 2 games for Nemesis, 0 for Shroud X, and it comes at the helm of Mello once again. You would think that the bans would have changed. They did not, and the result, Vicky, didn't change either.
It's the fact that Nemesis have done their homework, and history repeating itself just a little bit, literally bringing us the same situation that we saw the last time these two teams met in the upper bracket semis, literally losing out in the same spot that we saw them here was Shroud X. And now Team Nemesis just one more game away from moving on into the grand finals.
Yeah, and again, 0 final hits from Impunity. That is just the dead opposite. In fact, so opposite, we were seeing people ban Groot against him because that's how much he was going off. And this point, just not going to get the job done. Unfortunately, they got to figure something else out as they're going to go into map number 3. And honestly, just fantastic play across the board for Team Nim.
Yeah, looking back on this and not only making the quick adjustments on going over to the Squirrel Girl right out of the gates here too. Very strong, unexpected start, but also really good when it comes to maps like this and trying to get out just to clear that initial aggression. But Craze being on the Groot, dipping that of Impunity was not on my bingo card.
Yeah, I mean, we've had a lot that we didn't expect today. We have FlyQuest winning over Envy, a Squirrel Girl appearance. I mean, just absolute chaos here and what you expect for Marvel Rivals Ignite. Yeah, I mean, at this point, at one point, it was Mystery Heroes for Shroud X. We got so many different team comps, so many different lineups, and they obviously felt pretty confident in what they had because they stuck with those same bands, but just absolute punishment. And Ricky combo there with Mello has been something insane they continue to pull off.
That and then Amadian's output too has been impressive. At the end of that last game, it was like, what, 15 final hits that we saw right there too, making that quick swap up like you mentioned to the Doctor Strange before getting a huge Eye of Agamotto. That's the beauty of Marvel Rivals too. You make this quick adjustments, you have your ult charge, you boost it up really quick, and then in game-breaking moments like this where it matters everything, you get to really bring out the big guns and clear another team fight. Big mad props here for Mello specifically though, being in the sky, being on that torch, and left uncontested.
Yeah, I mean, you're speaking of it, Flame On, Game On, as I've been saying, speaking of the big guns, 31,000, almost 32,000 damage on Human Torch. We have seen Torch just carry this tournament for so many teams, and at this, for Nemesis, it's in the hands of Mello. We most certainly will see different picks and bans, or you would hope so, with Shroud X. And, we've picked on Dogman a little bit here. He's been playing a little bit Harlem Globetrotters for his ults. It's like always just trying to land the tough shot. Those start to stack up obviously there, but both Vanguards who typically kind of really hold down the team and give them a nice base of offensive defense, it just has not been here right now for these two matches.
It's those big playmaking moments that it's needed. It's 100% needed. It's difficult though, because when your focus is on difficulty level 100 here, you have to really make sure that you can land your shots there. And at the same time, you have to worry about the Cloak and Daggers and the Eternal Bond. How do you want to prioritize that when Mello's terrorizing the skies?
Shroud X, they're coming off a victory. Nemesis is coming off a loss. You would have thought momentum was going one direction. No, it's going the other. Guys, don't go anywhere. We've got match number 3 coming up with these two teams after this break. What's going on, guys, and welcome back to what could be the end. The break is over, and Shroud X's hopes might be over as well as we look into what is going to be match number 3. And Vicky, for me at least, and I know it's not always the game plan you had heading in, right? They need to make Melo's Human Torch go into Human Toast, or it's going to be done for them.
Maybe a priority ban out here too, because the torch is just getting away way too much. But also, Amadian had their own pop-off moment in that last game. Like, there's a big highlight over Amadian's head, because on that Ultron, you combine that with the torch. It's a lot. It's a lot to have to deal with there too. And I know that we keep like talking about the Vanguards here from Shroud X, but this is hard to deal with. Like, if you're Dogman trying to land these meteors on flying targets, like, it's not the easiest too, but at the same time, you know, it's the last 2 maps that we've been seeing between Dogman and Impunity that have been the roughest I've seen these 2 players on thus far.
Yeah, unfortunately, some ults, you know, you're going to set up in front of everybody, and if you miss, it's going to be obvious, and we've got about all 7 of those. I mean, looking at it, I think Melo only got eliminated 3 times that last match, and so they're getting rid of that Punisher early. They're getting rid of the Wolverine. They've definitely done their homework, as we are at 0 Shroud X, 2 Nemesis, but fate could change on a whim and quickly here for these top teams. We'll see if Nemesis can punch their ticket to the grand finals, as Shroud X is picking their map for match 3, and we head into the action of the pick and ban phase. Vicky.
You know already, with Team Nemesis losing in a clean 2-0 versus Sentinels, they want their run back, they want their revenge, and they've changed up a lot too. Looking very good after their previous run-in with Shroud X, now making those adjustments. Not only did they win on Dom, where I feel like that game mode really does favor Shroud X, but here they are now back-to-back with just 1 game away from moving on into the grand finals, and we get the protection on Emma Frost from both sides, or rather the ban from Emma Frost on both sides.
Yeah, no Emma this time for Scatter. And funny enough, when Nemesis played Shroud X on this map last time, they cleaned up shop. But then Shroud X had their historic crazy win against Nightmare on this, so they also feel confident in what they can do at Clintar here. So we're going to see who can get the best of both, but already starting off with a different strategy, getting rid of Emma right away.
And I think this is a good move here too if you're Shroud X, because we keep talking about the Vanguards are not being enabled, and I really do feel like Scatter specifically has been a problem on that Emma Frost.
And again, keep in mind, guys, as these teams are matching up, this is all to go into the playoffs. They're going to be playing these teams again many a time, so just figuring out what makes these teams click, their flexibility, what that consists of. There's so much to keep track of, not only when you're watching rivals, but behind the scenes here for these pro orgs, as we've got Punisher shut down yet again. I know Vision is punching drywall somewhere. He wanted that Punisher, but he does not get him this time around, and they're gonna look to shut down triple rest. No, there it is, finally, the torch ban.
I was gonna say, punching, I can't deal with Torch. I have to stay on the Namor. It's so difficult when that's really like the only option you have to work around, together with taking advantage of the Hulk too. So that takes up a slot for Vanguard, as we see the protection onto the Loki.
Yeah, so, you know, in turn, with the Torch ban, you're going to be opening up the strategist play a bit more for Team Nemesis. But again, either way, they had to change something up. They're not letting the Torch go on their side. Look at the triple duelist ban from Nemesis. So tough to deal with. A lot of their favorite picks, right? They know the flexibility of Shroud X with Vision and Doom, and they're comfortable putting them to those heroes.
Dude, the triple duelist ban, they're like, all right, we're gonna enable Melo as much as we possibly can. And I understand here too, whether it be on the Psylocke or the Torch, still having that impact. If we finalize our safe picks and our bans here for our possible last game of the day.
Yeah, it has been just 2 games of best of 5, but it's felt like some of the most chaos that we've seen in Ignite so far. Teams locking in, getting ready. Doom, no surprise, going on that Psylocke. We've seen what he can do in the backline. Impunity now flexing over to the Magneto. We did see some Magneto play from him. Again, I'm glad he's switching it up too. I think that is going to be needed here as we look at Dogman floating the penny, showing what he was, you know, talking about in those interviews. But it's got to be all seriousness for Shroud X if they don't want to make an early exit.
And we're moving on to Convergence here too, and seeing the track record, how that's going to work out here. It's going to be interesting. Team Nemesis already having that lead. I feel like both these teams pretty even when it comes to the way that they approach Convergence. So it's going to be interesting to see how they take this, because I believe actually Team Nemesis, they won on game 2 on Convergence, specifically in Clintar in that 2-1 situation.
quickly too, very quickly. Nemesis got the first point before I could even understand the team comps and lineup as the caster back here. I mean, and they're going to look to do it again. They want to make Shroud exit and just get them out of this thing. But we look at the defense effort from Shroud X. We do have that Penny Parker gameplay. We've highlighted it before. You get to see it again, folks. And then we've got the team up Vision and Loki, but they're going to take the battle right to them. Typically, they go on the point sometimes for that separation of a wall, and here we go.
Dogman Penny is out, but the portal plays are also out here too, right through the side door, avoiding any Penny nest while they're at it, and now are going to be able to take this much more roundabout high ground positioning.
Yeah, I like the high ground, right? Having the high ground's huge, and having that portal to not worry about the bottom is awesome, as Doom now just trying to get that poke damage early. And look at Strange going down fast. They're trying to focus Scatter and see if they can get this early pick on the Vanguard, but they do force out the cloak bubble. Huge cooldown. They've got to capitalize that as we have Punisher and Median now pushing in.
Oh my goodness. Amadian delivering exactly to what you asked for, Cozy. You move up, deny that as Dinks has that on cooldown. Now, or rather, Dinks now on the other side looking at to help out Amadian, trying to get up on the high ground. As you can see, Dogman literally flying around over to the side, slowly taking over this point. Team Nemesis, Shroud just looking to try to contest at least one towing line.
This is exactly what we saw last time from Nemesis. It was so bold of Shroud X to pick the map that is definitely favored for this team, as that first cap comes very easy for this team. I mean, they're not just responding, they're recovering from what just happened.
Oh my god, and they look at the ultimates that they have. Yes, they lose out on a Madian, but the spawn is right there behind them and behind the payload here too. And they have 4 ultimates to work with, rather 3, but 4 incoming with a Madian coming back and Scattered.
And Scatter typing, I guess, to his teammates, doing a quick bathroom break. I'm not sure. Scatter on the top there, though, and he is now back in action. Quickly, maybe getting things together here for his team, as now we've got Doom looking to get that pick, but they've got all the strategist ults to deal with it. They've won that first fight. That's going to give them the ult advantage, too. All the momentum is for Nemesis right now. If you're Shroud X, you have to flip the script and change things up.
Yeah, look around. The group roll, though, too, just to follow up, and then you have the Omega Hurricane from Mellow. We're going to try to dance off here as Team Nemesis keep everyone alive. They had lost out on Fidel first, which is very unorthodox considering how Fidel has done so many times in the last incoming matches here with Team Shroud X, and now it was another team wipe. At least Shroud X, though, will be able to come in with 3 ultimates.
So rough to lose that Luna Snow with the ultimate, the early pick. Luna Snow more like Luna No, and that's not going to help them out at all. Get this, with 4 minutes, they're just easily cruising through. Clintar making it look like light work to make it to get to this grand finals.
Doom has been trying to set up for the Dance of Butterflies for so long, and guess what? You're not going to get any impact because the internal bond does come out, but at least that is one force out ultimate. Then you look on the other side, Fidel having the dance off here. Magneto too from Dogman to see like mixes his mark because the Magneto bubble, but the damage output with some help from Fidel, the dancing to help resustain everybody just to move up and wipe out this point. Team Nemesis now finally gets stopped with that momentum.
There we go. That is what I was expecting from Impunity. What we've seen him put on with Groot. Definitely pulled himself together there, and Groot planting that whole team like weeds in a garden. Great job.
Is a way better map too for Impunity to get their footing on the Groot too. We see the portal recontest now from Scatter, who has the Eye of Agamotto, by the way, but everybody from Shroud X basically split up from the other side. Misses out on that ultimate though, doesn't find its mark, and Mellow then instead comes in from the Omega Hurricane.
Yeah, and they get the cap without even having to fight for it. I mean, this is just absolutely not what you want if you're Shroud X here, guys. This is for the grand finals. Let's see if they can pull it together here. Last map, last push here, as Nemesis just absolute all gas. They've got just the speed run happening here.
Literally, and it's the fact that they were able to portal directly on the point when the rest of Shroud X being on the defense were just playing way more behind, expecting them to turn that next corner. So giving them just a little bit of whiplash there once that portal came out.
Yeah, right now, Median on Punisher is just going absolute crazy and just making that graveyard, not clearing space, but quite literally giving them all the room that they need to push forward. You've got Vision here with the crows to throw down. We'll see when the Goddess of Death comes up. Here's Impunity, though, with the group hug. Can they get something out of this? Right now, great blocking from Scatter. Everybody's playing at their A game, but Doom does get that elimination on a Median. That's going to open things up and force some ults.
That Scatter shield, though, before coming in from the skies, does find that one stun here onto Impunity, and Vision takes the skies as the Goddess of Death. Dogman is the next to get stunned just temporarily, and the Eternal Bond now coming in from Dinks to pave the path here for the rest of Nemesis. The dance up now is from Fidel, just with the fate of both worlds, just to help the re-engage here once Impunity does come back here, too.
Yeah, just able to completely ignore that Goddess of Death up above. Still clear out immunity. Doom, though, again, getting that pick on Amadian and the Luna. Getting Luna down. Huge pick from Doom coming at the right time. Can they get Crazy Man? Yes, they do. 3 minutes on the clock is going to be a long hold, but Nightmare nearly did it to Shroud X. Can they do it to Nemesis?
Craze with the Strangling Prison did not find it smart, so you utilize that one ultimate Ricky had used the fate of both worlds here, but at least you're coming back with the Median, having that Judgment and Mellow too with that Wolverine last stand.
Absolutely, here teams regathering up here in Nemesis. They've got the Final Judgment. They've got Berserker Rage, 2 ultimates in itself that can get a full team wipe. This is going to have to be, again, a legendary defense coming from Shroud X. They don't have Dogman's ult to counter this. Impunity, far from his. Nuck does not have theirs available. This is going to be a tough thing to do. If I'm Nemesis, Vicky, I'm pushing fast here.
Yeah, if Doom's at least trying to split some of the attention because they don't have that retaliation here if you're Shroud X. No support ultimate to try to counter this from Amadian, other than just trying to kite away and get out of his line of sight. But then this just gives them free reign over the point to get even more momentum to get this payload to the finish line.
Yeah, exactly. We just saw the 2 duelists. That's all they need to get done. Nuck finally getting that show on to stall things up. It could be a little too late. With 1:59, we have the Eternal Bond and the response from the other team. Now, here's the deal, though. Shroud X, they can snowball. They can avalanche these ultimates. They're coming online now, too. We've got the Goddess of Death going up with Vision here any moment as we speak. Impunity throwing it out. They're all grouped together. The show's on, but they say 9. It's off. The point's to them.
0, 2, 3.
They got off the point, and that was even with the fate of both worlds just trying to recontest. But I have to say, Craze has been crazy on this group. Those group wall placements right there by the spawn room doors, just trying to isolate the entirety of the opposing team.
Yeah, that was nuts. I mean, just absolute devastating to have all the ults just come online, ready to rain down. No one there, though, on the point. And with that, it looks like the mere hope of Shroud X even getting a game off Nemesis, which, gotta highlight, Nemesis just cleaned up every piece of their game since that first game to Shroud X and then to Sentinels. Insane job here. We're gonna see if Shroud X can go on an offense of a lifetime here.
Looking at the stats too, across the board, if you look at Team Nemesis, just the final hits are landing. Amadian has been on fire, even in that last game that we just saw too. Well, we saw him flying around on the Ultron here. But looking at the way that the strategists have just been able to stay alive, aside from Fidel here with those 3 deaths, looking at Ricky, who's been on fire, putting out the output with the BRB here, or rather just on the rocket for right now before making the swap. But we saw that in the last map, just the output that we're currently seeing from Ricky, whether it be on the rocket or the Luna Snow, has been amazing.
Yeah, we also saw with Envy versus FlyQuest, the team that bans Wolverine, the team that keeps it, you can make it a one-sided battle at times, and Mello showcasing just that on Logan. However, it's just questioning, they didn't have their ults ready, yet they pushed up towards that Punisher and Wolverine ult on that last point. I don't understand that. Obviously, it wasn't going to be that big of a difference, but when you're throwing up a purple bubble on the Final Judgment, not a lot going to keep Frank Castle down. Here we go, though. Even with a legendary offensive effort, they're only going to mirror match Nemesis, but they got to get it done here.
QB to be safe here instead. Doom's already trying to get into position. Slowly trying to back cap, though. It's going to force Team Nemesis to get away.
I'm going to get that pressure. I always like that for Psylocke. Try to get them off that high ground. Forces them naturally without, winning that fight up there. But here we go. We've got them now collapsing all at once here and building up fast and quick. And going down is Craze quickly, but going right back up with the help of Ricky and Tinks.
Watching this from Craze is giving me PTSD. These wall placements and the damage output is putting in so much pressure, but this is even better for the strategist of Shroud X because it's going to build into those ultimates even faster here. And then looking on the other side, Scatter about to have that meteor, though, just to try to contest that. Loki being the one strategist that gets their ultimate faster than any other strategist, just to try to get that copy, to get the fate of both worlds, and to keep this in contention.
Yeah, all right, good job there. They did get Craze back to their team, and they were able to get that elimination and just the infinite skill ceiling that it is with Groot in pro play. But right now, Wolverine on the other side making it a bit easier for them, and Punisher. This is where it comes to the bans. Dogman going up, and unfortunately, same story, same result here from those meteoriums.
Dogman went up, the meteor went down, and nothing here but the follow-up too from the Strangling Prison. All eyes here on Vision. Doesn't get that finishing blow, but Doomed is just doing enough here just to avoid the meteor here on the other side. Craze again comes right back, being a menace on this group.
Craze is going off right now, and an insane job at that. I mean, my goodness. Now Vision switching over to, again, that Winter Soldier, trying to get something going for this team. They're going to need it. There's only 2 minutes on the clock as they line things up. They've been under pressure. We saw it a lot in this tournament. This is by far the most they've been here. This could be the swan song of this team.
Dude, the immediate evacuating with the smoke grenade to get out, but a huge strangling prison and put them all up on the box, but no follow-up here as Impunity finds Mellow. At least they find Dupe, so it's a trade for trade here. 5v5 between Shroud X and Nemesis, and Nook being able to have that God of Mischief available just as quickly, just to keep this fight going, to keep the sustainability, it looks like here, but then comes in instead, gets the copy on what's now gonna be able to get the follow-up here to a Median going down, but the Winter Soldier being able to help them out, at least in that one brief moment.
That was crazy. We only seen one other Loki copy that wasn't a support. It was for Groot whenever they played on Sentinels, and now we've got the Bucky copy. And unfortunately, it was not enough as a surprise factor to get the job done. They got one pick and picked themselves. This will be the final fight here between these two teams. Potentially Shroud X now. They do have Vision, Kraken Impact online, ready to go. Impunity, though, is a mile away from that ultimate. Fidel can give them the path there with purple of internal bond, but here it is. We've got the teleport coming in, and the back hits, and the pressure from the Punisher portal.
Let it rain here. No one to contest other than getting out of your line of sight before they jump down from the portal to get even more aggressive. Scatter with the meteor, patiently waits to block out their exit route, and even though it misses it out, Craze is right there to follow up in terms of the damage. Here comes the Eternal Bomb, the dance off here too from Ricky, just to keep Team Nemesis alive here, and then you have to deal with the Strangling Prison and the Judgment and the Bucky up from Vision. A huge quad coming in to try to save the day for Shroud X.
The Season 1 special, what we saw in the era from Vision, we've seen it from them before. We see it again, Vision with the Kraken Impact and the Groot ult to keep their hopes alive on desperate mode at this point. With now Doomed, got the Omega Hurricane ready to go. This is going to all come down to the perfect execution of ult combos. They had 5 minutes to get the job done last time against Nightmare, now only 2.5 against Nim.
And again, we go. Vision with the change-up, allowing him to have some sort of impact. The Omega Hurricane, though, forces out the Eternal Bond. Beautiful bubble just for Doom to get right back to the rest of the team here. Dogman having that meteor, all eyes on Dogman, while Mello also having that last stand with the Wolverine, looking for the opportunity to find the isolation.
Rage full as Mello slicing and dicing. He does not need the backup. He is the backup as Dogman now trying to push forward. He's getting kidnapped. It's not looking good. He's got the ultimate Berserker. Taking out Dogman in the fight early and now putting the pressure on full Snowball.
Dogman being the first one to go too, while having that ultimate available does not help stagger the situation. Instead, allows Team Nemesis to just replant their feet on this defense, hold out this next choke, because this group from Craze has been crazy.
This is it. This is your hopes. This is your prayers to continue to the grand finals as Craze is throwing down the tray. Absolute crazy Vanguard play here. We do have one ult with him. They can combine that with the Meteorium if they want to go that route. Nuck, though, does have the ult to keep them alive somewhat. We got the Kraken Impact online. Impunity's going to follow. We're going to see if they can do the same thing, but Nemesis knows it's coming.
They have all the tools available to them. Oh my goodness, just brings them back with the grapple. The Bucky helping them out, then following up here too. Dogman gets enough of that damage done, but it looks like this Bucky swap up helping them out, even with the invisible barrier being used up here.
Dong, he got it. He nailed it. He got the meteor in there on Cloak, and that was what we're on the 1 and 8 now or whatever it might be. But great job there, though. Getting aside, and good job for the team not using a lot of their resources. With only 42 seconds, they needed to hit that fight with perfection, and they still have the Kraken Impact combo with the group hug of Groot. They've got to nail this.
Say group hug. Very deadly hug that is here. That could wipe out the whole team, depending how they're going to try to navigate through this. Already solo, Magneto, he gets reset though with the Fatal Bolt Worlds. Sends him all the way down the Strangling Prison. Here you go with the Wombo combo. Still finds it smart. Gets the reset here. Make it 2 perhaps instead. With Dinks going down, that means you won't have the Eternal Bond instead. Punisher now activates the ult instead, going in from the back end. But you have to look in 2 different directions, because then you also have to deal with the Omega Hurricane.
Vision gets that reset yet again. He's get the 3rd. Can he make it 4? Can he put this team on his back? He's going to go for the 4th. There it is, folks. Vision trying to get the show done here as Winter Soldier and pushing them through. My goodness.
Again, with every help from the rest of Shroud X, they're narrowing their way into that second checkpoint, but Team Nemesis are looking to re-engage here with the portal.
This is exactly what happened last time with Nightmare as we have the portal come through, but this time Nemesis has all the momentum heading into it. We've got the Berserker going up. It can do its job just in itself. And Delta with the pick on Luna.
That's a huge first pick here, too. Dogman, Meteor ready to go. Looks to see if they can find the mark until Median. The problem off of the Punisher. No shield could save you there when you're out of position. Big pick off here for Dogman. It's happening here as Vision gets the next pick. Dogman with the patience, one by one as they fall.
Ooh, unfortunately, the great job at this point. The shield's up. They should have capped. That's a bummer, but obviously everything on the line, you got to get it there. Dogman, though, he's got 2 in a row with big risk come big reward. Great job there, keeping the hopes alive. There's a minute left, but they used a lot of resources. But guess what's back, Vic? Kraken Impact. Impunity's halfway.
It gets back so fast, and he got the reset, what, 5 times, 6 times, I believe, here, too. So just being able to look at the impact that's going to have here moving forward. Dogman already creating some of that space together with Impunity.
This is crazy. They're putting everything left in them in this tournament for the group stage here as the aggression is going for both teams on maximum. Final Judgment very close. We've got the show to open that up. We've got the Meteor as well for scatter. Everything's ready for these teams. Omega Hurricane is trying to bait out this show. They're going to wait 1 tick, 2 ticks. There it is. On it goes. And they can fold this up with the Kraken Impact.
Fidel here also has the invisible boundary, though, to keep everyone alive right through Grace's strangling prison. Instead, now they have to deal with the Kraken from Vision. It was a follow-up here, the retaliation from Shroud X, putting everybody in the shish kebab, and even with the Omega Hurricane coming in from Mellow, you have to consider the again and again moment as they fall here. Shroud X are looking unstoppable.
More colors than I've seen at Ultra Fest. My goodness, it was an orchestra of destruction. Every instrument just set to loud as they did the job there on the upper half, but they have to close out one more battle. Guess what? Resources are low. Nemesis has most of what they need to get the job done.
It's close. It's all or nothing for Team Nemesis right now. Overtime now taking away. Dogmans has that Meteor. Nook as well with the God of Mischief here. The invisible boundary. The Magneto ult as Amadian here with the Judgment just terrorizes right through these group walls, but no one can find their shots as they completely cut away.
Oh, Impunity in the ult. They needed that so desperately as everything is for the last chance. But they got 3, make it 4. Dude, coming in time with the Omega Hurricane for ages.
This is a crazy. Looks behind them. Only 1 left, but nobody to contest here. They get it to the finish line when everything looked grim here.
Oh my gosh, the skies, they opened up, the scoreboard followed. I can't believe Doom was able to get the 4-piece after the Impunity elimination. But guys, that was just to keep them alive. Nemesis has 2 minutes and 46 seconds. They like to make things interesting, though. That was crazy.
That was such an insane effort put out by Shroud X. Like, they definitely had a few extra gray hairs after that one because, whew, I mean, if we're sweating out here looking at what is happening right here between Doomed Vision on the buggy, like, this is insane counterplay to deal with the problems that have been in the sky. I was wondering if we were going to see that Bucky after we saw the Punisher getting banned again, which further indicates the need that Team Nemesis likes to lean into for these flyers.
I can't. These duelists are trying to do everything they can to keep things going. Nemesis has all gas, no brakes, but that storm ult just, I mean, it hit harder than any weather forecast could ever prepare you for. Absolute heat there. And we've got now, first up on the keeping things alive here for Shroud X. First of all, just looking at the damage output for these teams, Vision 22, most of those coming off Kraken Impact, Insanity, and just the spread of the load of love down there. Look at those strategist numbers, Dinks and Ricky, my God.
The battle starts in 5, 4.
I just have to say that Vision and Doomed right now, too, are just holding it down. Healing output, like you mentioned, too, just been on a different level. Ricky getting picked off first maybe 2 times in that last round, but Vision coming out now, looking to see what to do, closing in this distance and coming out with that Bucky.
Yeah, Shroud X now, they get to open up, right? And I've been in the matches where you can make just that overtime, tick all the way to the last point. If you believe, point to the sign and say it as they take this left hallway here. Doomed looking to get that early elim and pressure here as Psylocke. This is going to be a very tough point take. They know exactly what they need to do. Get these ults charged up. Vision now up to 60% though.
Ooh, that was a big first pick. And the wall, too, to just isolate. Now the Omega Hurricane from Mello boosting that up just as quick. Nook, though, also to answer back with the Loki ult. He's going to be able to get the Eternal Bond. Fidel's going to be able to follow up here. Going to be able to find 3 onto Team Nemesis. And they have less than 10 seconds now on the clock. And Shroud X are taking this point.
I don't know whether to clap cast. I can't handle it. Just incredible play. Dogman getting the ever so crucial picks that they wanted in the first 2 matches. It's all happening right now here on Clintar. Either way, great job to get this point with 1 minute. Now, how far can you push it? You use resources to get there, but not that many. You've got the Kraken impact. You've got the internal bond. It's all gas right now.
You have to stay on the point. Overtime ticking away with no time left in the time make. It's one big ultimate that to clear things out here. And Amadian has got that judgment. Dinks now also with the Eternal Bond. That's going to be answered by Fidel too to just closing the gap here. And Vision does have that Kraken. Let's see how many again and again do we go. As Impunity with the waffle combo comes in with the strangling prison. But here comes a Meteor for Meteor. Dogman looking up though. And Nemesis being able to find 2 off the big Meteor off the Dogman straight to his face to then find Impunity. They wipe out the point.
At nearly the exact same spot as yesterday, that Scatter accidentally pressed his Meteor M. He lands the triple hit there to seal that deal. But either way, if you're Shroud X, what you need to do is hold this point for 2 minutes and 46 seconds. That's a tall task. But my gosh, are these teams put on a show for what could be the last match.
The way that they've been able to cycle through these ultimates though and through these Groot walls too with these meteors, what a performance thus far. Man, we also saw the Kraken impact attempt too. Combine that with the strangling prison, the combo that you were mentioning before, but the survivability from Nemesis between Ricky and Dinks has just been on another level.
Yeah, I mean, Dogman countered that Punisher ultimate enough, right? Didn't get the connection on the Meteor M, but it was that Kraken impact. If they could have landed and kept that going, we could, we just saw what it did last time. It gave them all that extra push, and then it's a whole different story at this point where that 2 minutes don't matter anymore, right? I mean, 2 minutes is a lifetime here on this first point. But absolute just clutchness in the genes for Nemesis here as we head into the defensive effort of Shroud X.
Look at Vision's final hits, by the way. 22 final hits compared to the rest of this lobby. 43,000 damage. And that's with Vision trying everything to find what works here for the rest of this team.
Yeah, and Impunity going from 0 final hits on the map before to 14 now on Groot. The tree is back, folks, but it might be too little too late. They're bringing the battle right to him last time. They put the portal on the low ground. They took the high ground, and they're going to look to do the same thing. I mean, you're expecting it if you're them, and they know it at this point. Here they go. Up, down, blocking. Oh, they left a little room, though, for space.
Okay, before slowly approaching from the high ground here too. Shroud X just gonna try to contest him on the other side of the point. Instead, on this defense here, Scroot Wall's coming back up. Impunity trying to play around them while also looking over to the other side between Mello and Doom, just trying to prevent the turret setup as well onto Amadian, but they're slowly starting to get the point. They've already reached the first checkpoint here too.
It's a dogfight right now between the two storms right now. The cat, it's keep close to that cap. They don't care. They're gonna let it go as much as they can here. But Scatter getting the first of it up Doom, and that's a huge pick to open things up. Vision now just trying to stay alive. Impunity goes down, and this has happened now 3 times for Shroud X. They cannot stop Nemesis's just offense approach on this map.
It's just Doom playing so far back once Team Nemesis has wrapped around on that portal. Couldn't find the mark onto Amadian. Yes, you prevent the turret setup, but in this case too, everyone's playing such a split game, and now a huge stagger unfortunately onto Vision.
This is the exact opposite. You needed just a little bit of a longer hold there. Instead now, the direct opposite result, but they do get to jump in here. They have enough. They do have some gas in the tank. Vision able to hop in that portal, get that Kraken impact. They can get the snowball they need. There's 2 meters on the point there, Vicky.
But they lose it on Dogman, who goes down with the Meteor, and that's with Dinks already in the Eternal Bond. Would have been crucial here. Invisible boundaries are gonna be enough, though. The burst damage from a Maiden, having that judgment is just too much. And then you have the Groot strangling prison. No one to stop them. Team Nemesis, they reverse the situation and they take it home.
Nemesis dropping the ults like Avengers dropping into New York, getting the job done, full send, no fear, and with that effort, they push themselves into the grand finals of a confident 3-0 against Shroud X.
Wow, how tight of a game, despite it being a 3-0. That last game specifically was the cherry on top for us.
Yeah, I mean, too little, too late for Shroud X, unfortunately, making their, like I said, Shroud exit now as Nemesis's hands, looking at the clock and looking at the stats here of the effort. 47K, just Vision doing every single Super Saiyan form he had left in him to do some carrying, but it was, again, just not enough. But looking down to the bottom at the victors, Craze, Amadian, Mello just popping off. Scatter went crazy on that match as well. And 100, look at the healing from all the teams. I mean, that is insanity.
They were working overtime, clocked in for that 9 to 5 strategist, just backline support here, and they delivered. Ricky too out here, always with topping a lot of these healing outputs, 68K in favor for them specifically. But you mentioned Scatter. I really liked how Scatter played there. Craze though, with the group, was on another level in controlling that space, and it's so good specifically for Clintar.
Yeah, and listen, Nemesis, they've been trying to prove that they belong up there with the top seeds in America. They've had a lot of talk behind them, and right now, they just showed it with ease. They belong at the top of conversation with that performance. Not just getting into the grand finals, but getting in there with dominance and confidence and really looking completely polished against this whole matchup against Shroud X in what was a coin flip in the upper bracket.
And giving congratulations to what Shroud X has been able to achieve thus far in this bracket, right? They were able to 2-0 Techie originally. They lost in that first meetup versus Team Nemesis and then had to make the climb from the lower bracket quarterfinals through Nightmare in a very close series, through Techie in the run back, and now here this time around, all the way to game number 3, round 5 situation for the immediate turnaround after making the adjustment that they needed, whether it be on the Bucky out here too, Impunity on the Doctor Strange, or even the Magneto changes too.
Yeah, without question. I mean, yeah, and listen, I know that was on the losing team, but I'm so glad we got to see this highlight one last time. Absolute chaos. And after having just a near perfection of a hold, just to get the troops rallied yet again and just say, hey, we know what we've done on offense on this point so many times before. Let's go out there. Let's do it again. And they did quite easily. And it was at the hands of every single person on that team, but Ricky being the MVP.
Always like to highlight our strategist right here, Ricky, once again, always putting up the numbers, 21 KOs, as well as holding a really good position. Got, I believe, picked maybe twice, first ever, though, in that entirety of that map. Still very impressive, only 9 deaths, too. And that's combined together with the wombo combos that we were witnessing with the Strangling Prisons.
Yeah, just without question, the perfection of play there. And Amadian has just proved, too, Mello getting a lot of the spotlight, but Amadian just how flexible they can be as well, playing what is needed at that time, whether it's the Star-Lord and the triple, res comp and being the main threat there, those Punisher ults at the right time each and every time. This has been a tremendous performance from them, and I just can't believe this is just the group stage. So much on the line in terms of seeding and playoffs, and obviously a good chunk of money. But these teams are playing like it's for everything, and it is everything at the birth of esports, in terms of, regarding these teams, Vicky.
Yeah, they're literally creating history as we speak. That's what Marvel Rivals Ignite is all about, and it's also highlighting the teams that may have been at the top who have made their way here from previous events, but it's also the teams that get to plant their feet and stay. Making the adjustments coming out of the advanced tournament ban system that we also have in place has made it really exciting. It's really shaked up the meta, but it's also forced a lot of these players to be flexible on these different picks.
Yeah, absolutely. And Marvel Rivals, the great thing of it and esports is all teams have a rival, and I can tell you confidently now, Shroud X, their rival is Nemesis. They are the Nemesis of them, and at this point, you try to look forward. You've got the playoffs, your seeding, you can reset, reload, but Nemesis, all eyes are on tomorrow as they're going to be going into the grand final, and we've got a wonderful Nemesis interview coming up right now. It is the coach of Nemesis. I cannot wait. What's going on? Congratulations.
Hello. Thank you.
I mean, just what a map. You guys have faced off before in the upper bracket. It was one of the tightest games we've had in this tournament, but this was just a different feeling and a different team. I got to ask for you, were you surprised that they just did not get the fire extinguisher out? They let Mello just run torch in the sky the first couple of games?
I don't know. They had the blueprint yesterday, full prep for it, and they still chose the wrong answer. I don't know. They had 4 tries. 4 tries, 0. It was bad. Disappointed.
Dude, Like that was not only the problem to Amadian, like also terrorizing like the skies with Ultron. You guys had it all planned out. I have to ask, when you guys were able to take out Shroud X in the upper bracket semis, were you worried with the way that they were performing and playing more games than you guys coming out of that lower bracket when they had to reface you guys again, or did you already know that it was going to be lights after you guys already beat them?
I thought it would be more of a factor than it was. I mean, once we lost the Sentinels, we knew that like we're gonna lock in for Shroud, and we're getting our rematch with Sentinels tomorrow. Like we knew that was gonna happen. We just didn't think it was gonna be a 3-0. I mean, this is crazy. They just got folded.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think anyone was expecting the first results of FlyQuest and Envy, and even more so the 3-0 here with you guys. I want to ask though, it was only a day ago, and now we're a day forward. What you happened with Sentinels, and now you get your revenge game against them. What's the difference even a day can make against them as a team and as the morale?
It's flexibility. It's focusing on what we're good at, but expanding like what we can do. We're trying to stop being one-dimensional. I don't know if you saw in our ban phase today, it was very much a targeted ban phase on the DPS line, because we know what we can get them in. So it's just a matter of making that not happen to us. Stay flexible, know what we want to do.
I love that you highlight the way that you've had gone through with your ban and your safety picks here too. But now after facing off against Sentinels without revealing too much, you guys have made those adjustments, and I feel like Amadian has been like the professional ditto on your team. Literally could flex into what you ask Amadian to do. Can you talk a little bit about how the comms? It's crazy. He's very flexible. It's crucial with this ban system that we have in place. That's what we keep highlighting. But do you have any sort of guidance here on how the comms sound for Nemesis when you get to take a look at what they need to fix and what you hear when you listen to the comms? How do the comms sound like?
Our comms are Scatter, Genji, and Ricky carrying the weight, and then Krasmang, he's there sometimes. Amadian, I mean, he's a ghost in the VC. Mello, he just complains when he dies. Let's see, who else? Dinks, I mean, if there's ever an idea, if you ever see us in for any reason, it's probably a Dinks plan. Somehow, some way, he's involved.
Okay, now that we have you, I have to know, this is from yesterday's game, but when Scatter had that ult from Magneto out of nowhere, what was those comms like? I know he was nothing but quiet there.
I don't think the VC's ever been quieter. I mean, that whole match was a jump scare. First we see Black Panther, now Scatter Genji's mag ulting air. I mean, you see that dunk though? He slammed nothing, but it was fire.
What an answer, man. I've got to ask, what is one word to define this? I feel like all teams going into this, like we knew kind of how they were going to fare out, but Nemesis was this big question mark always. Like, where does this team land? What's one word that defines this team? Can I say it on stream even? Like, what is y'all's motto? Who are you guys?
I think the safe answer is friendship. It's power of friendship. We've all known each other forever. It's just the boys just running it down mid. But we were Shikigami before. The slingshot. Once we lost yesterday, the slingshot was in motion. The win was coming today. So you know the drill.
We've seen it once and we've seen it again, and you guys continue to put on a show, and it's gonna be great to see you. I mean, either way, you made it into the grand finals. You're gonna be able to have good seating. We're excited for you guys. We're gonna be cheering on you guys as you go against a great team in Sentinels. The two teams trying to earn their flowers more. Go celebrate though with the power of friendship with the boys. Enjoy the win, and I appreciate you so much, man. You've been a great time.
Go FlyQuest.
Yeah! Instant. Love it, man. Thank you so much. And to get the interview that way. Way to go, man. Way to go.